muvio. Makama yamani mangani yesame yamanyo yamiti. Masemi yesu nansume kobo muvio. Mukama yesu, nieneni. Masemi yesu, nieneni.
My muti senju medie so ni nyankopon adome wahwe ye so na chese kakra wode ni ra na wotwe ye fofre te sese enyo bibiada na nya asa akwanya no se nyankopon adome ne wo na ye guso tinkwa muti ahode mulia na na senkutu ana yede ebe ma no yada nyankopon asende akwakwa ememende nhima hodo bebre wo ho na kai hu ni se yade kudi wo confidence guso wo fonti no usi abonti akosa nhim kro na se no wo bebo wo ho ban na wo kwase so no bo modern trust nsu aye chase no e phenomenal wo te sanse no ne nsu krogia emu ete wo bebo am apomodin isipi na isitakọ na se nsu e be chase no enye vena nsu ahwe na wanche bia no mesanse yade aba bebre ntinya wudi anoma komude e wo se ma weni ekọ ho ye pa mama wachi na mama wakwaba na ma chiro nye wo se wo ye na wo twe wie yi na meka wo se ya tena se ye sinkunwa don hwimie no Ghana nkanko nimpuntu ene ho chichire nkomotwetwen ye gibrenya daje na yini nimdefo abo no mo enimde abenahye efa asemeda pono so ana ye gibrenya daje twetwe sankomoi na watwi nsema hudo bebre ne yi niti nemum didi mu akotene kese pa no ekokoye E11 obi besie E11 tax na chese 2022 akohumasika Ghana fotosa na henekeno foriata edeko piemu mrahye bedwe fie afietwemu ekoye no nea epiemu anomanfo dodo na enidi echipa any electronic transactions levy aye ka kwasem yi enu ada pe ni behwa de wo mrahye bedwe fie say ye tutututu bi amane ye hone de anhye da nkoso sa ne mominsem bebre eyi neti ewo ho na nka wo hwe no mu kwan say enu ano obetumi de sa electronic transactions levy aye ka kwasem ne be sanso akomrahye bedwe fie na mrahye bedwafo esi ho kunwa hwese obetumi se wo gi atum se wonu mu ebo egu no ne no de wonu mu etumi achwe nanso achia mehene betina na konwemu saa etwen ya na mrahye bedwafo yi emma ya no se kire ma me bebi mfa na me amete won ankasa me ho nhye da mfa me ho ndodo me e wo se mekọ na papo mudi ameje e wo be manso Dubai no mekọ kọto aso ana chese pa osori ye na wasori ye no na be di ti beji nkonwe itina so abedi ti odi kan beji nkonwe itina so wo hwe no kwan sanka obetumi agi atuma na se wo no mo ebo egu no na kan ye beji yenje ene se chese wo no mo anu antumi anko benkru mu a wotu e de sheda nti no enu ada na nka wo hwe no kwan se obetumi aka electronic transactions levy ho asem mo mahye bedwufie na nso ankwanko wie payo nti wo no mo etu ade asheda wo hwe no kwan se dabena eda yinimi se wasanso betina sesin konwa obefra asemi na wono metumi aka ne ye Ghana fogusu kasa amafo a kire won madwea fa ho bebre bia story etie nya asem kuma kra na town hall meetings ahodro bebre ko so na watwi yi mu na amanyoku NDC frɛ won mo de sanso ana MPP amanyoko no so di bi hyehyɛ so kuma se ne koforidua na enya asem kuma kra na won mu ni na kire NDC fo no kire ni enti a won ma story etia sanso ana MPP amanyoko no so ekire ni enti ehu behia so manfo no ebetumi agi atumu na den nsem ni de eyideja enti na obetumi ehu behia se obegibre na wahwedwumi de bi edi amame sanse ha no ye beba mu edwedwemu aka na se ne se na efata nsem edika no ana egibre nya daje eka no ofidie so Isaac to political Babyface eni medimestro woni yentina don hwemienu yentwetwe Ghana nkan kuma menka wo se yehwemi live e Facebook nti wadwempo wadwenkyere wasembu se bia de fa asemeda pono so aye gibrenya daje atwetwe ena no page media no so betumi dia beka mensa e brese mon making kan ni nada e de asum sanso na WhatsApp number ni twegu wo screen ase ho baby no modern fa krunche wonsem ni nada fa ma me making kan e de amamo Adwa TV Ghana ewo Facebook eho anadwumedie no ekoso ewo na meda me ho ntew mekọ benimdefo aye krado ye ne wona mo betwetwe nkomo
Blue City is a manufacturer and supplier of high-quality fashion accessories. We design and make quality bow ties, flying ties, lapel pins, ladies' brooches, fabric necklaces, African wares, and so much more for your weddings, schools, institutions, bands, choir, singing groups, individuals, and so many more. We use both African prints and foreign fabrics to make your beautiful accessories for you. Oh yeah! Contact us via call or WhatsApp or SMS on 0240 926 564. Locate us at Odoko Official Town opposite Emils Preparatory School. Check us out on social media, Facebook and Instagram at Blue City Fashion. Blue City, creativity and style.
Welcome aboard the safest airline in Africa. With industry-leading safety measures to protect your well-being. The first in Africa to earn a diamond standard of safety. Offering a more contactless, safe, and seamless experience. Delivered with a smile by Africa's first fully vaccinated crew. Creating special memories that bring the joy back to flying, so you can continue making memories with your loved ones. Book your flight with RwandAir today. RwandAir, the safest airline in Africa.
RwandAir, fly the dream of Africa.
Blue City is a manufacturer and supplier of high-quality fashion accessories. We design and make quality bow ties, flying ties, lapel pins, ladies' brooches, fabric necklaces, African wares, and so much more for your weddings, schools, institutions, bands, choir, singing groups, individuals, and so many more. We use both African prints and foreign fabrics to make your beautiful accessories for you. Oh yeah! Contact us via call or WhatsApp or SMS on 0240 926 564. Locate us at Odoko Official Town opposite Emils Preparatory School. Check us out on social media, Facebook and Instagram at Blue City Fashion. Blue City, creativity and style.
Behold a great prelate.
The Anglican Diocese of Accra, by divine permission and under the auspices of His Lordship, Right Reverend Dr. Daniel Sylvanus Mensah Toto, the Diocesan Lord Bishop warmly invites you to the consecration of the Very Reverend Dr. George Kotainigwe as suffragan Bishop of the Anglican Diocese of Accra on Sunday, 30th January 2022 at 8:30 a.m. prompt, happening live at the consecration grounds of the Cathedral Church of the Most Holy Trinity on the John Evans Mills High Street in Accra, and will be aired on Adwa TV. Guest of honor, His Excellency Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo, President of the Republic of Ghana, His Excellency Dr. Alhaji Mahmoud Bawumia, Vice President, Republic of Ghana, Most Reverend Dr. Jonathan B.B. Hart, the Archbishop and Primate of Church of Province of West Africa, and the consecration celebrant, Right Reverend Charles May, Anglican Bishop of Highfield Diocese, South Africa, who is guest preacher for the consecration, Most Reverend Dr. Cyril Ben Smith, the Archbishop for the Internal Province of Ghana, Anglican Communion, Episcopal House of Bishops for the Internal Province of Ghana, heads of diplomatic missions in Ghana, the Ghana Christian Council of Churches, Corporate Ghana, and the entire brethren of the Anglican Diocese of Accra will be in attendance. Be part of this historic and spiritual service as we see Very Reverend Dr. George Kotai Nikwe being consecrated as suffragan.
Therefore with an oath the Lord had made him to increase among his.
Welcome aboard the safest airline in Africa. With industry-leading safety measures to protect your well-being. The first in Africa to earn a diamond standard of safety. Offering a more contactless, safe, and seamless experience. Delivered with a smile by Africa's first fully vaccinated crew. Creating special memories that bring the joy back to flying, so you can continue making memories with your loved ones. Book your flight with RwandAir today. RwandAir, the safest airline in Africa.
RwandAir, fly the dream of Africa.
Blue City is a manufacturer and supplier of high-quality fashion accessories. We design and make quality bow ties, flying ties, lapel pins, ladies' brooches, fabric necklaces, African wares, and so much more for your weddings, schools, institutions, bands, choir, singing groups, individuals, and so many more. We use both African prints and foreign fabrics to make your beautiful accessories for you. Oh yeah! Contact us via call or WhatsApp or SMS on 0240-926-564. Locate us at Odoko Official Town opposite Emils Preparatory School. Check us out on social media, Facebook and Instagram at Blue City Fashion. Blue City, creativity and style.
Welcome aboard the safest airline in Africa. With industry-leading safety measures to protect your well-being. The first in Africa to earn a diamond standard of safety. Offering a more contactless, safe, and seamless experience. Delivered with a smile by Africa's first fully vaccinated crew. Creating special memories that bring the joy back to flying, so you can continue making memories with your loved ones. Book your flight with RwandAir today. RwandAir, the safest airline in Africa.
RwandAir, fly the dream of Africa.
Yeah.
video no go so that television na wo share o my moti say jumedie na ye di kan ate ho bebre de acho nkomo twetwe nda no pay no dodo na agina electronic transactions levy achese na wo twe di ehin kese pa e wo man Ghana mu ase yen call Ghana e mra bedwe fie na eno ada no ne call so e wo honom ye di kan tie dom dodo no ni awokan ye na deputy majority leader Afanyo Markins na ogina wona nemu ekasa ya wotre nia aban abomodin aye na nia wo hwenum kwan so betumi aye na o man fododo na ebetumi atinase adekode potinti a electronic transactions levy wo pese ye chitu
the caucus and for that matter the minister of education finance to engage and deepen consultation. We've been pursuing same in earnest. So far, it's been positive. Suffice to say that it's not been conclusive. We believe that throughout the weekend, we would further get into this. We don't want what happened in December to repeat itself. And we believe that this e-levy is an important legislation that would help government get the needed revenue. As you may be aware, the majority caucus deployed its membership across the nation to engage so that Ghanaians will appreciate where we're coming from. There are two things that government seeks to do with this levy: to look at the road sector and also tackle the unemployment situation. For the road sector, we all know that the fund is insufficiently funded. We cannot rely on what comes in to pay contractors. And in fact, if you look at road tolls, you are looking at around 6-7 million a month. Meanwhile, the demand on government to fix our roads is enormous. We are optimistic that if all things go well, we are likely to proceed by consensus. But that notwithstanding, we also concede that as a matter of principle, our friends have taken a position, be it ideological or party policy decision. And in such a situation, it becomes very difficult to build consensus. What you can achieve is to get their cooperation in disagreement. What I can say is that discussions so far have been positive but inconclusive. Cooperation in disagreement. What I can say
na deputy majority leader Afanyo Markins na yete nenka wakasa mrahye bedwefi ebegu so ejina ho no my sense wakasa wie na minority for so eji one day one so wakasa na eno so the deputy minority leader James Kluchi honorable one so na ejina minority na nemu ekasa ya wonom so kire se hu behia se wo betwen na speaker kwento a wo de hihye so enne no wo be kwaba ansa na 11 no wetumi aka ho asem yenti ono.
If Speaker travel this weekend and will not be available next week, I think our advice to the majority side is that we should wait until the Speaker comes back. We want the Speaker to preside, then we'll vote on the matter. And once that is done, the end result will be a decision of the House, and whether the motion will be lost completely or the model will carry. That is something that will be done after. But we want the Speaker to be there. We don't want any of the deputies to sit so that what happened in 2021.
Tina enonso enono James Kluchi Aveji, honorable the deputy minority leader edema ewo Ghana mrahye bedwefi na yese ono so nko no so ekasa watch say hu behia say dom dodo no betwen na speaker kwintu a wode hyehyɛ so ende no wo be kwa ba okogina from de map bi na sokoba wono metumi afre me levy ho asemi no wono tumi aka e wo mrahye bedwe fie ebi mente saa de a ne koso afie twem koye no ebesa nso ama ne ho mene so ebiom ewo mrahye bedwe fie ehonom nti na guest awa beka yensa wo studio mu ase ya obabeboa ama nkomotwetwe no yetumi edi ahyehyɛ so tutu eye Richard Manorubi won ma wakasa de mama nyiku NDC no waka ho ebi na nka yehwem kwansa as usual MPP NDC na besin kunwa na nkomotwetwe ne de ahyehyɛ so mprempren de ono nkwa no wo ha ye ne be hyase se MPP amanyoko no so na musini ba ye de ne be hyemo nti uhu ne sa enye boakwa yobi se ya hyeda kofa Richard nkwa betena se onki kansem na mom de tene se amanyoko MPP no ana wana musini enyamba ya official pay
betu yamenia
emsa fi nyina yin
afi so na no say juma no doso so all along na me o constituency me buy I think I came on Monday me juma no so say juma no de doso ntenya nkran na betena o tiri so no say 8/8 ya juma kase o wa be because last election MPP for nya vote be NTS nti ye pese ya kill that kind of ambition ewo intelligent
ana e bien so eno so yakonya bia wo bo modern hwe se wo be sanso a premium
police Babyface ana mi kase asa ye kase die vacancy bia ni ho nti I say vacancy ne be ba die be juma ne de grassroots de ye juma
se wo so shati fi
bi ye ne betimi aye na ye mbre so na vacancy so ba na eja nomination ba na betimi afale ama media aka be mama na ba men kwa kwenya yenchia watifo ni watifo na wahwefo nyina na memma the management of Adwa TV munyina afishapa na memfa nchia kesi ye emergency kesi for your mam peni his excellency na John Dramani Mahama as Eddie Bremo fie ha na the leader and the chairman opposition pofo na me constituency in contest of eno otirigin fo nyina mama afishapa
ye jobi aso
e the matine juma pa last year mama ya kwenya ayetimi amakati ya constituency ya region and the nation as well. As a political party, we are always grateful to you, Adwa TV. Say over 1 million viewers are always. I'm almost TV in social media so emotional. So much remember ya kwenya ama ya betong ya nsempa. Because nye muntia. Once nkofo be brain nim say anka e-leave you kra anka nkofo ne say anka tutubutum agenda.
Say media ni de ye de se bebo hunde.
Mo de ro nti ye de da mo asene djuma pa mo ye na ye say from January going no yenum be ye djuma pa so. Yenum mo the collaboration na the NDC be the media partner to Adwa TV no.
Yenya NDC nkwa yenya.
So I speak on behalf of my party. Nti me my party ho asem na make and me nim say manyoko bia ho hapa for NDC. Yes. Oh, so me media na minim nti me kama asem nti some media partnership ne relation na ye wono. Yen kra mo sa. Enim say no man koyi. This year no man be den but mo so mo kra na sa. Electricity bill no month mean because I ban the side ejodi na mba
ba so the bronya de ne buy
baby adru die bronya de ne ready ngakra na me tell you me bo pe buy de make mama buy no say me kro mu de buy na
but me that thing and that was just by the way Richard Manorubi NDC amanyoko no won ma wokasa obako eno no ye hwenim kwan sem pipi amanyoko so na musini ebeba e-levy eden na won ho amosemo ntiase enka no na enim say nyoma nka mo pre budget yedi kan e kan ye no minority e raise 5 issues and 5 concerns I wish you kwan say anka aban betumi a revise na osanso de aba parliament one of this no na e-levy na wo hwenim kwan say threshold no and say percentage anka betumi ate so eno adaye nim say finance minister e call Mashibedu fie on minority leadership no e ko hia na anka wo hwenim kwan say obete so 0.25 in tanka 1.5%. But this minority say 1 pence so be abium. Yen yin fi ho kra. Adena mo someone.
Political Babyface. My myself as akwenye wenchi obium. Na mame the Speaker of Parliament, Right Honorable Albert Mani Kingsport Bagbe. And there ofikro mo hako Dubai bium akwajina yarefe. Because when you say the health is basically somebody's concern. And to me the metu no for so ko de wanya botre. Don't try how now na pom di mu yi bibi an fi adru de obombo de obo adwuma amagana 28 years in parliament and after so baba ye Speaker of Parliament yi why na from over 30 years and 7 the legislature and counting no why ya de na pom se enya wonya boto okwa ma mpre no ho oko Dubai ma ompe no onya butre na ma doctor for no hwehwe na apomu yie say 2 months o 1 week o 1 year onya butre no mo tinetire na apomu yie because okoyi there are 2 deputy speakers of more parliament nti yes parliament adwuma no enkoso nti yes parliament adwuma no enkoso yie kura nti enya butre no tinetire na apomu yie say ne hu tona no abaya hia no nkwa pa because no be ho a we an institution onim sa to an institution to ma the state pressure no and then so the sovereignty of this nation is important so as the material that's the woman resources no that's very important to me man no speedy recovery e hia pa nti onya butre
bo bia ni mia wo pese wo kan to de to
na me na ga de onya butre na o hwehwe ne hu ye na ne hu to na aba na Ghana fa nyina akọbu agin so airport na gina be fie na watimi ahwe na apom di ye na wo ka e-levy asem da bia me ka say won say MPP for mo campaign for pe o man pele John Dramani ma ye bibia no mo so adane so mbe no mo asay no wo ka say man pele let me give you the instances who say sasa John Dramani Mahama or your man peni bia he has served this nation well there's no two ways about that I think you agree with me
man peni bia serving
yes and now no share the normal the to acquire so am baby Ghana bedroom pempen so he has contributed massively to the state development man peni John Dram man peni for the oil buyer uncle discover oil yes man peni Rollins institute GMPC and the oil finding I want to say the major duty of GMPC is to look for the oil the discovery of our minerals that's oil and those things and mampeni kufo ebe discover oil nti mampeni Rollins ye bi mampeni kufo so benya bi mampeni John Mahama buy no so who say yes oil it will bring the revenue to the nation no the piak buy okay piak was a piak to take the security checks on the oil
public
revenue.
interest
accountability on the oil revenue what the buy mampeni who say it's an anti-corruption institution incorruptible president don't say you corruption incorruptible president ever in the history of Ghana. Mampeni John Dramani Mahama is a president that doesn't want to see corruption in his life. And so only the buyer no. And Mampeni FNZ and not done Kwaku for the super. I say on the super the buyer be ever find a special prosecutor. So I also want to check on corruption. Look at the duty of PIAC. One of PIAC, any minister of finance or Monta Kwadabi Amoko to make sure the checks that the revenue and useless. No, Uja for the special prosecutor buyer. Special prosecutor I say. And when they discover and a special prosecutor no, but discover said the president and the presidency is the mother shepherd of corruption. The president and the presidency is the entrepreneur of corruption. So then I make count the president and the presidency. That's what Matthew Alamis Amedu said. He said, "Mampeni, any mampeni aswe ye no, they are entrepreneur of corruption. Just omo di kata se dream pro any kankan honjwa. Wow. Anything any question chai. Mampeni John Dramani Mahama so or the progressive free education ba and also start see e-block ya or start see expanding the infrastructure of education or start the subsidization of a school fees no na mampeni so also ba for the free education ba how ya what so ba ya na so and no how ba na no the double track ba ya no double track is what say am for hu so mampeni John Dramani kasa start see e-block
but say him say one more war form 3 and 2 and double track system
but you say if you see a traffic light in the second circle station you have been doing coverage you are one of the guys who have been sacrificing for this nation you know what is happening at the education sector Mampeni John Dramani Mahama so what's that e-blocks na not danko akufado be what the e-ladies buy who name the e-ladies into e-block buy and also electronic ladies it's about Bruni Mampeni. I am telling you, no, I am telling the achievement of Nana Danko Akufado and Mampeni John Dramani Mahama. Then I will feed that to the e-levy.
Achievement to the nation, and I say
yes, to the nation.
On mind the enemy ladies. I
am telling you, sir, it's a some of Obika ya Mampeni am from Wambeka. Not the e-lady buyer. And the Mampeni John Dramani Mahama as a starting up an IT institutional base in this country. You remember the fiber optic project Elba Akromha. You remember the NCA tower. You remember the Minister of Communication, NITA, Cyber Security Services. Mampeni John Dramani Mahama started up. At his regime, any Mampeni most time na mobile money buyer. Who can say some mobile money buyer no? Then Mampeni the bankers, the mobile money buyer, there was a conflict. said they were coming to take over their job because people were actually running into the mobile money ventures and that. And the Mampeni started integrating the e-cash system. So you can now go, so they started working together. So in any way, before a mobile money vendor will now try to institute his mobile money, you have to pass through the banking system for getting the e-cash system. You know the e-cash and mobile money vendor starts here. And the mobile money vendor industry is been able to create about 24,000 jobs. There are jobs.
But then baby, I say, baby, I would woman fire a keke no uka could be say. The
kako drew say, Mampeni be ababe yet, and a Mampeni should be bababekum.
Crime bench. So
that's the point I'm trying to build. And to say Mampeni is to see the electronic system, the IT based system. Yet me for Ghana should be our mobile money away. That time now G2 ni G3. They move it to G4, upgraded the system. No, Mampeni should buy was it the mobile money ventures are here, no, or also the necessary good your bottom area, and that is what we are saying. Say, and ya be. Who said the MPP say e-levy or much or modi bay? The way and manner, any the attitude now or modi bano. And it just say there's a critical agenda. Say they are coming to rob and corrupt this nation. And don't think a year as minority. And a Ghana for it is not only the minority group in parliament though. Forget about parliament, maybe it's beyond parliament. The discussion of e-levy is beyond parliament, which you know. And then the majority, deputy majority leaders say they've deployed the minority side across the country, the 16 regions, to go and explain to Ghanaians.
The majority
side to go and explain to Ghanaians say, "Omuntu by the idea of the e-levy."
But I think there's no way to go. Say. You be to me, I engage your man for no. I quite say Dudona said that Ghana for Dudona said that say you may be a CFA military transactions levy come and say every day I send shit the mono a cost to ye ma man for the TSS say nya ye pese ye ni sky ye pese ye ni na nyoma would be a pese this is key.
But you think I don't know? Okay,
ebia na no echi no man follow bet to me.
And amazingly say I am surprised that Isaac Utia Kasa me because some of them were town hall meeting. I watch it through your media house here. Which are one of the who can some Benjamin Ebisab finance minister. Or beside finance minister say the e-levy no a categorized under which tax regime. What me answer? And not beside categorically say mobile they've instituted so many taxes or sanitation levy. Or talk tax levy, or ESLA, or my bet chacha for levy, and COVID-19 levies, or beside says that's kind of then or much media. The finance minister couldn't answer. These are the questions Ghanaians are ready to say. They have same taxes that this government has.
But I know they say professional a wo no free presenting.
So that is
aban bia beba Ghana for bebu so say tax are you and then
but you see Abembia ba what institute
and then I the south Ghana be bia beba
Abembi ba
enya so enya Ghana meba enya aban pair pension na Ghana for bebu say eto ayi tu and then fa so na enya won so and then wo ho obi e bi
Ghana for so buy and say oh yenya mampani bia wa ye juma pa Professor Mills you be say the say oh ba top the toll debt mampani be institute toll debt levy tear up the toll debt. I don't know that way. You were
quoting so bodre mama. Me busa go show my muti say. Me ne Richard man will be ne wa say. Ye try your home kill. Ye be sisi ato come chicken.
Behold, a great prelate.
The Anglican Diocese of of Accra by divine permission and under the auspices of His Lordship, Right Reverend Dr. Daniel Sylvanus Mensah Toto, the Diocesan Lord Bishop warmly invites you to the consecration of the Very Reverend Dr. George Kotai as suffragan Bishop of the Anglican Diocese of Accra on Sunday, 30th January 2022 at 8:30 a.m. prompt, happening live at the consecration grounds of the Cathedral Church of the Most Holy Trinity on the John Evans Sata Mills High Street in Accra, and will be aired on Adwa TV. Guest of honor, His Excellency Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo, President of the Republic of Ghana, His Excellency Dr. Alhaji Mahmoud Bawumia, Vice President, Republic of Ghana, Most Reverend Dr. Jonathan B.B. Hart, the Archbishop and Primate of Church of Province of West Africa, and the consecration celebrant, Right Reverend Charles May, Anglican Bishop of Highfield Diocese, South Africa, who is guest preacher for the consecration, Most Reverend Dr. Cyril Ben Smith, the Archbishop for the Internal Province of Ghana, Anglican Communion, Episcopal House of Bishops for the Internal Province of Ghana, heads of diplomatic missions in Ghana, the Ghana Christian Council of Churches, Corporate Ghana, and the entire brethren of the Anglican Diocese of Accra will be in attendance. Be part of this historic and spiritual service as we see Very Reverend Dr. George Kotai being consecrated as suffragan bishop.
Therefore, with an oath, the Lord had made him to bring peace among his.
Blue City is a manufacturer and supplier of high-quality fashion accessories. We design and make quality bow ties, flying ties, lapel pins, ladies' brooches, fabric necklaces, African wares, and so much more for your weddings, schools, institutions, bands, choir, singing groups, individuals, and so many more. We use both African prints and foreign fabrics to make your beautiful accessories for you. Oh yeah! Contact us via call or WhatsApp or SMS on 0240 926 564. Locate us at Odoko Official Town opposite Emils Preparatory School. Check us out on social media, Facebook and Instagram at Blue City Fashion. Blue City, creativity and style.
Welcome aboard the safest airline in Africa. With industry-leading safety measures to protect your well-being. The first in Africa to earn a diamond standard of safety. Offering a more contactless, safe, and seamless experience. Delivered with a smile by Africa's first fully vaccinated crew. Creating special memories that bring the joy back to flying, so you can continue making memories with your loved ones. Book your flight with RwandAir today. RwandAir, the safest airline in Africa.
RwandAir, fly the dream of Africa.
That's the say we feed in go to that television. Now I will show my motive saying Jumedi, where they to Yakwaba. Now they tennis say ni o that will be chebi lam say abeka yensa wo fudo ma so one ma wakata de man pipi amanyo kono waka ho bi into obeboa komatotwe no ye de be hihye so anesa abrante why late part of atem ni etwa so ho no ma bibi aboko de Me I don't know ya fish up and so. Bro ya dey no dey buy. And I point you back no one
Trap.
And you trap your point back kan wasem. Me da se bebre. Em say man Ruby who the kind see no answer now. Oh ba.
Me fancy.
Bebre a working.
No, introduction. Actually, I didn't even start saying anything. I think that I started giving you the preamble of how other successive governments start here, e-living, some embassy, and to me, e-living as some coming young kaya. Someone will be some minister.
Sent na me busa.
Someone will be some minister.
Why now? Why now?
Oh, so I'm on volunteers here because I'm in the tram on straight.
With them about 2 minutes.
Yes, and then I'm a catcher say. So, I was bend the over room. Was set up extra levy. You energy sector now. So improve here. You want baby oba was set up this infrastructure development fund. You want development SC. You want baby oba was set up heritage fund. You want baby edaho stabilization fund now. A baby or the buy. So you've seen successful government policies, new programs for to benefit ordinary persons. But a baby aba. You say why instituting more tax echo borrows can be brave at the back room and I was so surprised say the whole deputy majority leader now says you e-living a big boy in our road and unemployment rate. You know and you baby also or how many billion from the China hydro loan or baby Quayana. Year of rose no saying. Now a baby can say, oh, it will help us with unemployment. And you baby like say they are unprecedented employment proportion of baby. So these assets abandon keep on lying to us. Who should in some ST or majority side that them TST MP or in so. Or see they are going to pass this e-levy. You pass it because they are in government until they will pass it and pass at the appropriate time. Who TS some of my penny and I don't go for Facebook or Kaya. So sometimes maybe say me tell say, hey, baby I don't know. People should see this e-levy thing about political parties. Until maybe say every year I am quite referendum. I am quite referendum not Ghana for you decide because the parliamentary cannot decide for us anymore in this e-levy thing. Until I am quite referendum and yeah about going to the regions and then explain to the people. But you see, it's so bored up to bad and super incompetent leadership. And I always say this thing, I'm not trying to undergrade anybody's mentality, but I want to call on electoral commission that 2024 from the elections are the category in which constitutional mandate doesn't say. Say only so be contested for presidency and not parliamentary. You should be 8 for parliamentary. You should be 18 years and above. So we are 18. That's the constitutional provision. You should be 18 years and above with a sound mind. Now the presidency is so idea. You should be 40 plus and 40 plus with a sound mind. We should check people that are occupying some seat in parliament these days. Because in some of them cannot. You see, there's a problem somewhere. I want to quote your friend saying A plus and some more kind. Or say, who say MPP for you part their MPP communicators need MPP for people. They are 1 minute away from psychiatric hospital. Because and some say a whole leader obia a man for a while you should know constituency power there more because of parochial interest. And you want to dip Ghanaians' pocket. And I want to urge you, I want to urge the ministry for me. I want to urge you say, I can confidently tell Ghanaians say, cry say, e-living or Mompano. We can tell them, say, e-living embassy. So far as the NDC and Ghanaians are concerned, e-living embassy will make sure we'll protect the integrity and the sovereign country. Or be our person want to deepen this nation in its own interest. They want to always try to steal this nation for their own interest.
But
we will make sure, say, we will protect it, and this levy will not come today, will not come tomorrow. So Ghanaians should not even be worried about that. We are there to protect them. 2020 parliament is for a reason. That is why we had a hung parliament. So the parliament, even though WMK say, Constitution didn't make provision for a hung parliament, and that's what we are suffering today. But
I question minutes and made over 10 minutes. I was saying, and my question I may be saying.
Yes. Now I've answered it. I've answered it.
Now my question is say,
yes.
Initially, you know, now near minority, war should be the thank you to me.
Minority never said that from day one. We've always stand on the point to say, if you listen to the video, no, if you listen to the video the majority leader, telcos. See, you are based on the video now, majority leader, telcos.
no, Okasa.
Oh no, Okasa as Haruna Idrisu that met telcos. It's
no,
not.
But I'm inviting as Haruna Idris. I'm inviting as
it's a former communication
leader.
minister. Are you aware?
But I'm inviting as
minority leader. Let's assume that. So that is what his view. So, listening to the Minister of Finance and then the deputy minister, no. Or no, can go just like and come about 1% kura. It thinks that it might be quite reasonable. But as it stands now, listen. Do you know I have a responsibility here? My responsibility is I'm representing the NDC and on my penny John Dramani Mama. So I'm here. And to me, customer, give me the opportunity to explain to the people.
No, but
he said they were not ready to pass the e-levy at the stage at which it stands.
So
the minority caucus of the minority group of parliament and the National Democratic Congress stands and they say the e-levy, we don't want it at all.
It looks as though frustrated government.
We don't have interest. Yeah, any interest. So budget appropriations in your past year. There are so many things that Parliament did by your past year. We've always been supportive for this Parliament since the day and Nana Danko Akufo-Addo became a president. In fact, we contributed massively into the development of this nation as an NDC and the minority in Parliament. But the e-levy, at its stance, we don't want to tax Mumu. You can't tax capital.
I
want to make it clear, sir. The minority group in Parliament and National Democratic Congress has never in any day, anywhere, supported the e-levy, and we will not support it, and we'll make sure that the e-levy is not passed.
It's a threshold in the crap. Even if
it's 0.000.001 kura, yam pass.
And then the way you live in why you see Munje Mamma Pesta Mubejim.
Thank you, Medase. Me for a quite ways to into all our viewers.
And then make up.
But yeah, we'll manage. I've been listening. Many of our Casa Bebre. Before I made back studio, I was listening to him. Let's say, national issues. We should do it devoid of the kind of abuser or no what he be on His Excellency President Akufo-Addo. Say he's an entrepreneur of corruption.
No, or say Martin. He was quoting what Martin Amidu said. And you know not
apart from when he used that to buttress his own statement, and he emphasized and repeated the statement. We can go back to it. Apart from that, I think his whole statement has been, just a stream of contradiction. Because even would be sound to say, what's the position of the NDC? Or see, John Mama say, the NDC leadership say, it cannot be accepted in its current form. And I'll be saying, oh, please don't interject. No, you have the opportunity. You don't misquote me. I'm not misquoting you. When you listen.
In the position.
Oh. Okay. So that's the sentence. I said leadership of NDC. So I don't not part of the leadership. I said. Okay. Fine. So let's say it's not John Mama, but you said Aruna Idrisu. You said he's also a former Minister of Communication, well versed. And his position is that e-levy can be accepted, but not in its current form. And then you ask him, say, if it's modified, and I say, BBI, will it be acceptable to the NDC side? He said, no, NDC will never accept it. He doesn't know what he's saying.
How so?
Yes, because of this very evident contradiction. Say he does not. He says he's speaking for the NDC too. He said it. So what's the position of the NDC? You have quoted. We earlier referred to what? So Sticker and some MPP leadership about what they said about exactly. And then he came here and he said, people said it in their personal capacity because he said it's their opinion. Well, somebody also spoke with his opinion, but he asked you the question that what is the position of the NDC? You could not tell. You gave two examples. You say in one breath the NDC leadership are saying that, well, the thing has to be negotiated. It has to be looked at again. It cannot be accepted in its current form. And then they ask you, so what is the position of the NDC again? You say NDC will never accept it. So is that one your opinion, or is that opinion of the NDC, or is it that there's so much confusion that the NDC does not know what its own position is, or that there is a position of the NDC but has not clearly been articulated, or perhaps you do not know? Well, that is for you, but that is not my issue. What I'm saying is that is, again, in addition to the kind of abuse we heap on leadership, that kind of confusion is not good for discussions on policy, because this is a purely policy issue. Why? Because policy is about what government does or what government does not do. Okay? And so the finance minister, I don't want to go into the partisan banter and all those things, because I take only one thing from all the things that he said, that he likes to take a more nationalistic perspective when we are discussing in Nyama to say, national issues. But then, he comes back with this contradiction. So I would take his position that we should not be too partisan. So let's look at what policy. So government is saying that let us introduce these new taxes, and so that we'll be able to kind of restructure the economy in terms of revenue mobilization, all that. And every every policy goes through certain phases. Of course, it's a controversial thing, okay? But how has government handled the whole issue? Okay? First of all, it's very wrong for anybody to give the impression, say, government is not seeing things the people's way. Because which are the stakeholder engagement adopted by the Ministry of Finance and Government, even the leadership of the MPP in Parliament and everything, has been very, very open, very transparent, and very accountable. These are things we cannot overlook. These are things we cannot twist when it comes to policy making. And see, what was the response or the reaction from the people, at different stages of the stakeholder engagement? It was clear, said, yes, the NDC is on record as saying in Parliament and outside Akashi, they are not in support of the levy in its current form. But what has government done? Government has not imposed. Government has tried to engage the NDC, even NDC leadership. Okay, and then soon our government, we will say telcos almost, so there has been engagement. What do we even hear from telcos? They are ready, and they are a key implementing stakeholder in this whole process, because almost services are deliver or provided to Ghanaians. That is what government is trying to use to raise some money for the. I don't want to go into whether the morality of the decision, whether it is good or bad, because that is reserved for the economists and those who are, supposed to deal with how we raise revenue and all those things. The point is that there is some level of national consensus. Anytime
do what national consensus, there is some level of national consensus. It could do same more man for no that yes.
And yes, at no there is an ongoing process. CCR, NDC, I can say home modern say they will throw a lot of confusion into the system. And see, when we talk of ATSA, it may be very relative. What is good? Let's say people are engaging, people are discussing issues, and the more they discuss, for instance, the more they break it down through town hall, through other fora and things, different sections are different of our society, at different levels of our society, are gaining different levels of understanding every day. What government seeks to achieve, they said, this kind of information, this kind of understanding will be broken down and will be allowed to penetrate the fabric of society. So said, very, very. No, government is doing what government is supposed to be doing at the right time, because stakeholder management is a process, And a different, we have different stakeholders. No, because first of all, I don't think Sankatan home meetings here. No. That's no. You see, that's the kind of twist we put on some of these things. Because good. So stakeholder management is a process, and it's targeting different stakeholders with different interests at different levels of the process. And see, where did this whole hula baloo start? It emerged in Parliament, which is where we got to start. Because after cabinet, after government decides that we want to introduce this as a law, as a policy to raise money, you go to the lawmaker, which is Parliament. It is there that we have the National Assembly, we have the Parliament from different sides. That is where you start. And so, why do you go to the people and start telling them that they should prepare to pay a new law when you have not even sought the views of the lawmakers? If the thing doesn't become law, it will not be implemented. And so it is in that order. But what happened? Because, say, you know, today information how it flies, and because it's a controversial issue, it is one topical issue that was lifted out from the last budget and thrown out, and all these things and all the issues and, you know, everything surrounding it, you know, a very topical and controversial issue. And so the next levels or the subsequent levels of stakeholder management now down can be shifted forward. For instance, now you need to go to the people and let them understand that yes, they might have heard something like this. This is what it sounds to them. But yes, that's in the view of their lawmakers. But what this means to them is this. We know that there is a lot of misinformation and misunderstanding about some of these things. I agree with you, Nise. I mean, we can enhance the education and things. But what is key is that government is doing what it should be doing in the policy making process. Government knows what it wants to do. Government knows who the targets are. Government knows and is liaising with the right stakeholders. And government has demonstrated that it is responsive and receptive to the grievances or the comments or the diverse views that have been expressed. And that is why we are sitting down here and still discussing. And what are we discussing? We are discussing progress. What progress? The government has been meeting the minority side. It doesn't matter what they say. Yes, they said something and something new came up. It is a process. Intimimi Jidi say, if we take propaganda out of it and we look at it as a policy issue, okay, our parliament will do what it has to do to get us the right level of charge. But let us not forget the same. In return for even this level, rotos and some other things have been cancelled. We are starting enjoying that because even that one was done the very next day. So when we take out the propaganda, when we look at it objectively, say it is a god, and when e-levy becomes law, it doesn't become, the law is not characterized in partisan colors. So any government that comes will be able to use it to help the economy, and that is the intention of the lawmaker that the government is trying to build.
The kind of videos from the deputy majority leader say consensus no bit me abuilding ayaji adiyatuma was say it to me ekososa na wone the minority side of the house bit me atenase na wona no akobem krom na won mo etumi ajasom waka no efa ba ko but efa baby nso no yesanso eti frame rashi bedwim ni ba ko ano on the side of the majority crona say the tie bi ada no ade no ye be pass unji ndi say no sa no minority fo unhia minority fo yi ama o maka ho na wetumi apase ade na ye hwe kwan betuma fa so George omo na won metumi ade atomo no na musanso ke BBC dia akwai say u show mo before bi
no enye say share before bi. It is just how the political or the partisan differences are structured in the politics. It's just like that. In Parliament, when you take the NDC side, you know that there are hardcore NDC MPs. Hardcore. And you know they are moderates. Okay? You come to NPP, they are hardcore, and you know these MPs, the serious critic of NDC and all that, and they don't, then there are MPP MPs that come, they are moderate.
Mind you, this time around,
so you hear different views from the same side. And that is why we have an official position, which was what you were asking my brother to give you, and we have opinion. Opinion is always peculiar to the individual. And so when we are looking at things, especially when you are trying to analyze a statement made by, for instance, the majority leader or the deputy majority leader, and you are, as a media practitioner, you know how you do, you know how to, throw the questions and shroud it in some kind of, we can't tell whether it's a personal question or official question. But the clarity must be there that the person was either speaking to a personal question or an official question, or speaking in a personal capacity or official capacity. I only say this based on his earlier statement. That some statements made by some people were said in their personal capacity. And so, without going into the details of some of those statements you consider contradictory coming from the same MPP side, I think, say, like I earlier mentioned, this is a stakeholder management process as part of the policy formulation of this e-levy. And all the views that are being shared are important. What it's not or may not be helping the process are the entrenched partisan positions that sometimes we take. And I mean, you see, because my brother, once you start making statements to say, no matter what happens, when you just block your mind from even thinking logically. And leadership must not block itself from thinking logically at any given point. And so we must continue to engage, we must continue to judge. And I think that is exactly what government is doing. So when government says that we are doing a town hall, I expect that we all take advantage of the discussions that will come out of the town hall, because it may not be all the views of all Ghanaians, but it will certainly be reflective of what a greater mass of Ghanaians think.
Initially, my question I maybe say, them for 11 months to me and Jimo. Oma for dodona utie ni a aban mu mpinifo ne dodona kana kwakwa say 11 ye gituma heaven beba asase so na heaven beba asase so agana hana eba.
I don't understand the question.
11 ye gituma ye tie ni amo keka ni akwakwa say 11 ye gituma impuntu djuma ye be hu wo Ghana ha say no e bin see da.
No, I don't me who's that impression.
That is the kind of picture
I don't understand. I don't think I'm painting that kind of picture.
And you will ask them that make
okay.
Even town hall meeting a course no utie nya ye keka
no. You see, the effect of the outbreak of COVID is real on a global scale, and you cannot make an objective analysis of the economy of Ghana, for instance, that went into lockdown, that had a lot of social intervention, emergency spending. You cannot look at how our economy is behaving or is performing without looking at some of these things. Because when government is spending, the money has to come from somewhere. Okay? So, did government spend? And we know about coronavirus. So, I don't want to even go into other flagships of this government, like Free SHS, which by God's grace is successful. I don't want to go into some of the decentralized social interventions, in spite of all the implementation stage the difficulties. We have the constituency ambulances. We have the $1 million per constituency working. Yes, you laugh, but if you go there, I would like us to have a very extensive discussion on that.
No.
Good. So, it is difficult. It is difficult for any group of people that is trying to get its finances right, especially at the level of the state, to accept that, yeah, in spite of all the benefits we stand to gain, we are going to have to bear a higher cost. we need to recognize, say, if we don't ask ourselves the right questions, we will not get the right answers. Today we may be here, we may be arguing, but is it all for partisan scores? I don't want it for partisan scores. I don't think that I will even support any MPP leader's statement which is clearly inimical to the progress and to the building of consensus. I will not support it. Because like you say, but you see, when it comes to MPs, people who are supposed to be supporting their party's position in things, like I said, they are moderate and they are hardcore. So we have to be able to differentiate. But my brother, let us go into what is more important. I think that irrespective of which side of the political divide you stand, Ghana is doing well. Yes. The mere fact that we have reached a certain level in our national leadership, and we have a culture where the government is listening to the people.
But Nentia mebusa usane se utie ministers ahodo akasa sector ministers ahodo akasa obia kasa na kwakwa se levy ya nji antuma ende nyoma wo se meye within me sector na be din se metuma road minister kasa se levy ya nji antuma ye na kwan na be din se betumi se agric minister kasa se ya nji levy ya antuma subsidize fertilizers on be din ya ade ntina mebusa se
you will not understand the statement they are making because you say they are different. If you take the e-levy in isolation, don't forget, say, the president has declared Ghana beyond aid. That has not been reversed. What are the implications of that? We've been hearing recently that government should go to the IMF. Yeah, but we haven't heard that government intends to do anything like that, which means that this is a government that is trying to have its homegrown solution. We have to bear the cost and realize the cost first of the impact of COVID. What we are saying, it's not that who builds heaven anywhere. Can you show me anywhere on earth in the universe? So we cannot use, I don't even know how heaven will look like, but what we are saying that what we are saying is that we need money to do development. And we know that over time, development partners have funded, let me give me 1 second. Development partners have funded a significant part of our budget. Now, as the country moves from that kind of regime into a system where we say we want to be more dependent on our own resources in funding our budget, we need to have a revenue stream that supports that.
Right.
Now, with the impact of COVID and all these things, government has to. That is what I'm saying. That the reality of the decision.
So first or sanka economy. So good morning. Thanks for your time this morning. You may person me booster. Levy. I can't want to be moi makoye economist. Ye bi ana mumu betumi aboa ya mayati nyome biase. Wujidi e pass adi say Ghana ye jituma ebe boa ye ni.
Good morning, me happy new year. Na me chairman for we are some way there some kesiye na ese TRC and also the government needs to generate revenue. Or the be ejuma abua emana atumpon. Na so it's be brewo e-revenue was first is going into a new territory. Our government in shed and tax here. The only tax is the core tax. Or any tax on momo transaction. Now where the entire as a kasa bound only is basically going to affect a whole lot of lives. Basically every Ghanaian now. Government position, they are trying to rope in Obia onto their tax and go so. But then we need to ask ourselves basic fundamental questions. The point is, how much tax revenue are we generating as a country? And what is the expenditure outlook, which is basically what we call fiscal policy and our fiscal economies. It's about the revenue generation and then the expenditure. Now,
not just a 12 yeah, they back for my mom for I said, why you did in your idea.
Now, yet see Chrome Hana, about way about so 2016, and almost share, say, Mube, near Mabia, Ebema, say, we'll be moving from a taxing economy to a production economy. And in order to achieve that,
I mean, Travano, also almost chassis some more ye be one. And I almost say, boss, some more baby.
They be almost share, but also, with the buy, they'll be moving from a taxing economy to a production economy. Now, Obeka Chelsea, all they are trying to say is Obema Ejuma Abba, Nankofobenya Ejuma, Ejuma, producing Yama, Ebenya tax in for so. But Omuba, we have a situation that something like free SHS, Omusha, to say free SHS na Sika na majority. Yama Edigana Sika say free SHS. Wages and salary, any interest payment, debts are free time in memorial. But tax we are account was an e-levy once and every NTS if he a 6.9 million Ghana cedi, which is approximately $1.5 billion. But question now is say about we shall say all your Ghana card, all your digital address system, and now convert your friend card to we PIN number to Ghana card to PIN number. So our convention no more and I
imagine
I am imagine to say our Ghana card need your PIN number, right? A tax PIN number, and I quite remember the president saying, now we have about 15 million taxpayers in this country compared to the rationale which has been touted that we have only about 3 million people paying taxes in this country. So, in all these dynamics, the question we need to ask ourselves is, the money that we are going to generate from e-levy, is there no other way, given that we've cancelled toll booths, we've reduced other taxes, is there no other way to raise this revenue? As a policy analyst and an economist, the fundamental question I need to ask myself is this. With this e-levy, countries somewhere implementing policy way and tax policy way. Majority Kenya, Uganda, Ivory Coast, they really achieve their targets regarding the e-levy
projected figure.
Now, what we are failing to analyze in this whole discussion, there is going to be a behavioral change in the way we do things because people will not be using the mobile money or the digital services that this government is thriving on. Now, and also, which means it defeats the digitalization agenda which the vice president has been spearheading. Because if a transaction that I'm supposed to pay, let's say, 1 CD, and I'm going to pay more than 1 CD, I'm currently worse off. Given that we've entered into COVID, dynamics of the economy are not in good shape, and even fuel prices are also going up. So, in the net effect, assuming you are earning 100 cedis, inflation will go up, meaning your 100 cedis today, by Wednesday, wouldn't be equal to your 100 cedis. So, for this e-levy whole thing, I feel there needs to be a broader discussion, and the government made a mistake by not consulting before coming out. This town hall meeting, which is currently going on, should have been done before you even propose it. Because you see, sometimes what you are supposed to do, offer policies and programs, you just do a random research, even common survey to ask that how will people respond to such a policy, and then it will help shape your discussion of how then do I maneuver to generate. Because yes, it is a fact. COVID came. We need to raise revenues to do whatever we want to do, be it planting for job, one district, one factory. all are in place. But it is also very important that you need not to burden the Ghanaian in doing so. Make the tax so flexible and affordable for the Ghanaian to pay. But if you make it so obvious that you really, without this money, you can't do anything, then begs the question that we are having this discussion, and the minority has stated this position that it would not support this agenda. And even a survey carried out showed that only 17% of the populace, which is an online poll, support this policy or this so it is very indicative that this e-levy tax policy is not a popular policy, and therefore going back to the drawing board to do the needed work, which they are doing. But for me, I feel more could be done
earlier
in raising revenue by other means. One, you started with what do you call it? Ghana card registration. You did housing, postal GPS. And the fundamental question we always ask ourselves, we are in this fourth republic dispensation, which is almost 28, will be 32 years old. And every year we have different tax policies coming out. The question you need to ask yourself, we always say the informal sector is the bane of the earth. What projects or what mechanism have we put in place to rope in the informal sector? How do you make it very easy for them to pay taxes? Or how easy do you make it for them to declare their tax return and all? These are discussions that we have.
So the wadaruma, makoso jewa tie yen ntino anka obema chi na do so ama me anke be me de pa.
But when discussions are yanya debia said debia we informal sector no mo to attack. So she share be baby I still yet to me because you see about almost 60 million. See, there is much more work government there saying to attract the informal sector other than this e-levy way, because e-levy way is more or less like an easy way to generate money, because I find myself in a tight corner. Winning initial observation and thoughts on the policies.
Into projected figure no UGDA pan say enya dia ye betumi emiti considering the fact say other countries some more ye bibisa no enya dia wotumi emiti.
Oh yeah to me now 6.9 billion.
7 billion na ye kan 17 no there.
Yeah, because super investors towards e-payment this annual because for example I met to 1,000 cities, 10,000, I met 200 cities. 200 cities can even take care of someone in a month. Until friends are other people will then change, and then you also make the financial inclusion agenda. Can one send baby I say mami mu na form one class here person send you musikano so at the end of the day you are making the Ghanaian worse off.
But answer me jawa mawako no me concern back yes we show Auditor General's report na Ghana you sue about 12 billion 12 billion to corruption. There are several loopholes that you to me silly and I'm suma fiscal pudwin in under na yestre 7 billion yi na ujidi kura say bit ma solve your problem samaye.
Oh they mean now your problem
and I don't say even put it to me a meeting poor any asem na
it is 7 billion asem we po it means solve your problems in but okay corruption was recently corruption index report crying by, and I think we are still where we are, which is not a good position. But the whole idea is we need to put much more effort in addressing corruption once so that we are able to plug in loopholes now who can now at least even if we are losing 12 billion who stopping 5 billion ABI within the next 2 or 3 years. So 5 billion to me baby e-levy way in here. But e-levy no personally my position there is not a bad, but it's the way it's being put across and Toasun Yema for because
Right.
I feel say we should have done the consultation before coming to put out the policy out there. And these are mistakes over time. They be say and then the tax will be about now the following budget. Now use our tax from case example luxury car because sika say now we call tax on you're increasing by 50% from 6% to 9%. Sika every move is almost $450 million. Time I was 6%, we almost got about $550 million. It tells you that if you increase the rates, people then adjust to the rates, and then the adjustment is always in the opposite direction. The increase against a decrease in reaction.
Ben also by affect the projections so my make but
projections, yes, why a model and our catches oh maybe I mean yes here. Me who am a model but if you look at the volume of transactions over the years, almost share no peggy against the 1.5%, which they rationalized to give you the 1.5 billion now more. But the question is it possible to generate more? You can generate more because if GRA last year achieve on target more than by almost 200 million Ghana cedis. And I mean, in my own position, GRA can do even far much better. GRA should be able to rope in 100 billion Ghana cedis a year in this country because if you are able to, all the time, they've achieved their target, it tells you that for me, the target is not really realistic, in my opinion. But when you say, baby, dynamics
well, finally, answer now, Becono. Concern I will raise yes, consultation. Was sank a kind cost and sana introduction, a crapo. The same thing I'm making, but I say MPP rep of Mammy and TSA. One stakeholders I was say engage your more was the cream on parliament, ne edicine a woman in Sina. Or my foot to sana in edicine come my shibby fee. More man phone in other SCSA name Rashibi phone also. Intino any crime say would kind a camp once the man sana ya better need one Rashibi fee and whom are you the mammy?
Oh, and yet, Fanny said, in Juma B. Fanny said, we are development agent, and all you are by Obesha, we are BB for and now, call round. It's just a normal survey. I'll be but some percent me yes, Mudrin was a me and the same. I hope it gives you more ideas. Chair, maybe Funny say, yeah, phone now, you're having discussion. Ideas, every phone, but at least if you have pluralism of ideas, it then shapes how you develop the policy. I hope because if you already certain idea or thought, but we've not even thought about it. Factor because I don't know if Obinim say Uganda say now say nobody knows in the room. If that idea is what were the reasons why it failed in certain countries or certain jurisdictions? It then helps shape before you even bring it to the Parliament of Ghana for deliberations to even go. But they are the policy makers of the country. But why do you have pre-budget, workshops before you bring it to Parliament for them to? So that should have been because this is a major policy you are looking to start. Just are the same as free SHS. Free SHS, they can one same before it came out in the finite form.
Right. Ma member say then I will be sudia ma ban. Sisi ana o man fodo na kasa sorry di tia sadi no. Den susuye na wode ma ban na yemfensi.
Yeah, for me, mechanism. I mean, they should look at better ways of generating revenue in this country. Yeah, we see informal sector. You are driving the digitalization agenda. It's a move up programs and our policy. Be a informal sector becomes formalized. Business registration is saying how then do you find you are making headway in the digitalization of registering of business, but how then do we make it easy and accessible for even the shoemaker polishing shoe is able to fill in his data or necessary document that is required. Who say yeah population census last year, and I felt it should be a stepping stone on how we shape our database to know how we then plan and then are able to rope in, because there are certain things that I say but also it will take a lot of work, and the politicians will not like to do that legwork because there's a political cost at hand. How big it, but if you are willing to take the political cost, everybody say, we are. You do the legwork and then you are able to achieve the needed result. Because when they be say, if say Fourth Republic we abide by say ABI CC Nyama Bianca by this time, Yanya there's 5 presidents. By this time, health shouldn't be a problem. School shouldn't be a problem. Electricity shouldn't be a problem. Roads shouldn't be a problem, because at the end of the day, we've dedicated ourselves that this year we are doing roads, we are doing water, we are doing this, and then we'll go on from there.
Alright, first to Sankra, you better was send down to Wada Janebre when you're not come.
Yo, madam.
A minute, Fisi, na member man.
Yes, I think I'll use a minute to talk about what economist Sankra said. I think one thing that stands out on his statement is that the levy is good, and that the engagement should have made to him come earlier or should, run for a longer period. But I think, sir, he mentioned something that also has to be addressed, because we've been saying several times, say, into what is the solution, and he mentioned, say, it's about roping in the informal sector into the tax net. Now, how do we do it? It's not about registering people. It's about getting people to pay. It's about getting the ability to raise some revenue from these people. Once you want to do that as an objective, and you, like economist Ankara mentioned, that he referred to digitalization and he referred to revenue. Don't you think that in the current scheme of things, e-levy is the best? Because Momo is what everybody can have access to. If you talk about registration, it will be many years before you get everybody, even 50% of the people you want to target. Can't we admit, we understand that the levels of the tax may be an issue that has to be discussed. The understanding about the tax and its implications and benefits for the nation may have to be further discussed. But we must not lose sight of the consensus that we all think that there is something bad about it, and it per se, it is a good policy. Once we want to zero in and talk about, once you talk about roping in informal sector, you are justifying e-levy. Once you talk about digitalization of revenue mobilization, you are justifying e-levy.
No, but say we roping in informal sector, and Kibia, so we no put the kind a coin baby one keep me.
Which a coin? It didn't show us.
Yeah, or cover registration, yeah.
And I'm saying but no, let's address the issues, because we've taken a neutral view, and so let's address but registration, in comparison to what e-levy does on a daily basis, potentially for revenue mobilization for this state, you are comparing that to registration. How many people even register? How many people even have the urge to register?
More informal sector. Not do Ebeka say do now you sue.
Why do you need a shoemaker to register with registrar general before they pay tax? When you can easily tax the person. Although you believe that taxing them is a good idea. Yes, boss. I'm sorry.
Now, sisi ano more informal sector no. You bet me can say be omo do na ewo I register on mobile money. But when Jindi say sa kwan na so no. Omo use mobile money no do pan so your mom would kind to tax did that. It's why say it's an double taxing.
When you say double taxing, I don't understand. There are different types of taxes.
Maybe sisi ano me tuaka me ejumeni. My funny part we ejume mo. Me some salary some but me.
So which tax are you talking about?
Me tuya their form phone so and a diamo one more.
The tax banner. Are you talking about the corporate tax or the income tax?
Salary diamo.
Okay.
Our phone.
Okay, so that transaction is taxed.
Right.
Okay, so if you agree with the people, why don't you deposit the cash in their bank accounts?
Does it
solve the problem? No, you want options. You want alternatives. And I'm only giving you
other alternative than to do
that. No, but I just gave you an alternative. So when you say no other alternative, people who are working with you on a daily basis, are they working with you in person or they living somewhere else? You have a lot of. That is why I know that. That's why I'm saying that we cannot just ask questions like that. The questions must have basis. They must be in context. And one other issue I have with the economy statement is that it seems to assume that there was no consultation by the government, by the ministry. I am saying that I cannot say for a fact that there was or there was no. But why shouldn't there have been any consultation? I believe they were working even their own data.
Before I did the urban rush between you kind asimesi ni amanfo bi no esusu ho
no that's a wrong approach to it. You see because
you see amanfo do na kasa for consultation
I know na me
say consultation the kind
what is consultation consult who
meba ye ka stakeholders.
Who are the stakeholders? So let's identify the stakeholders. Yes, that's one. Then who else?
Ghana Frankasa Frank.
That is the general public. Survey targeting who? That is what I'm saying. That his statement seems like he's assuming there was no such effort. And I have a problem with that because the ministry has a whole department dealing with research and analysis of mobile agents. The mobile money agents are working with the telcos, so they are part of that chain.
And telcos, say anyone man can.
When you say that, I don't understand because telcos are people who have just said that they are willing to even reduce their own charges on transactions to be able to accommodate
MTN 0.7.
Yes, so it's MTN a telco.
But earlier, before say
no, but we are looking at we are analyzing. When you say before, at what point?
And stand up finance minister and deba parliament. No.
That is the point where you want us to analyze. You don't want us to analyze anything else. But I think that we should look at all the issues and how they are playing out.
Consultation before say
which consultation? There are different levels of consultation.
Political babyface. Next time when you stop about one-on-one, I'm going to invest in you.
Oh, say bread will be brave.
Because we use it the whole.
No, it was the economist.
What can I say? Me buy a man kasa.
Yes, so
the MPP is struggling to explain the e-levy. This is the position of Ghanaians. Majority of the Ghanaians say e-levy doesn't make sense. Sure. The economists make a critical point. I can be personally raise that point. There are so many ways of raising revenue.
Like how?
If you take the property rate to our revenue, it's 9%. Are you aware? 9% property rate to revenue. I want to me property rate. Do you know why that is cost? Do you know the cost of it? Politicization of the system, even in the revenue.
It cannot be accepted.
It's politicization.
Are you saying that property rate is the alternative e-levy?
I believe you behave yourself. Very nice. Behave yourself. I mean,
don't worry.
Don't behave your flag bearer.
You see your things.
And you know, the property rate to revenue, revenue GDP is 9%. The revenue to GDP, I mean, is 12.3%, the lowest in West Africa. And some of the measures where the in place are GRA, meaning almost SCD, almost target last year they exceeded, this year they exceeded their target. It means that there's more we can do in raising revenue there.
Like what?
And when the measures put in place, I think I say yes, digitalization fine.
But Mark has about yes, kwanya befa so come to me suggest say.
And then say, fair. And then with the TIN number, the tax identification number, any transaction over here at the port, it passes through the tax identification system. You can get your revenue from there. And when I say you make sure say you leverage the revenue system in the port. Fair, you can say Papa you can say 100 million. We can raise over 200 million Ghana 200 billion from the.
Let's be clear. Is this why we should increase shipping costs as an alternative?
So there are some major ways. Say, abaye ebaye will borrow unprecedentedly. Which you know. O borrow ska be breska pudo o borrow yero. Sika na kwadru he. And now need to asem all kinds of free education. Only 6 billion. That want to see your kind budget now ebaye. 6 billion.
Education is a priority for Ghana.
Please. I mean, I can do what they are doing.
It's all right.
I can equally do this. Because it's essentially John Dramani Mama didn't train me that way. And you share 6 billion and acquire into educational sector. You borrow close to 300 billion. You can see consumption. And then you beside critically say, yes, let's use an example of what the taxes are more resilient. And then economists say there are so many taxes amount for because the Fourth Republic now almost 30 years, amount for because taxes are now raising a and the critical material professor most time I just tall levy buying tall them. Yes, clear tall them. Did you see somebody talking about tall them? Excellent levy by energy sector recovery levy. I don't say you energy crisis or crime and then what is doom so kana. These are the things Ghanaians want.
Don't bring doom so.
What is doom so can be more crime hana. Who buy you? Who the sanitation levy buy? Sanitation levy by you be say over 1 year sanitation levy would year na 2019 budget would year then you can account for it. If I say gambling levy now the buyer. A gambling levy now the buyer would you can hear baby echo. It is a levy square now the buyer apparently discouraging in an on and that is the concern of ordinary person. And the levy in India critically. I have a gentleman. No, we are saying that no government over back room on tax, but some tax are quite unreasonable. Even Momo tax. Momo tax now, having to taking the critical look at the Momo tax now. And then about what was it? You can't tax capital. What tax? Now him say and then would the 1,000 CD, and it's turning into mobile money. And it's going to be passing into 3 people. The deduction is 130 Ghana cedis. Are you aware? The transaction for only 3 people alone. Government, every 130 Ghana cedis from it. It is going to embed in Ghana. It is quite unreasonable. Can I say, okay, Auditor General report. Sikana a call into Auditor Scan Aira yo. Sikana Aira and says Sikano. You say Nanado don't go.
Oh, but I won't make.
No, we know the presidency. No, what are you saying? You say a B. Asigri ho. NYA. You say a B. A PPA papa no ho.
Then a man ko PO ho.
Oh, na you corruption na your PPA na. NYA lack of a procurement as can ko enima na. You so ko boss contaminated fuel a B ho. You so ko maritime authority a B ho. Oko mampena so ya obuka to entrepreneur corruption e bi won the bed ase you bet me akọji 12 billion yen kwaji enu afa ya sasa land cruises 32 e cost 5 billion 5 million US dollars ekoko followers are going to educate people on e-levy. The president and the presidency is presiding over thievery. And that is what we are going to. I am saying the no.
But man,
I am telling you, I am telling you,
no. And I want to mean kind of.
I am saying Abay Maritime Authority, only 11 air conditioned, they got to 1 bedroom.
It doesn't understand. It doesn't understand these things.
You understand better. So let me explain why Mr. Benyo come for. Let me explain. I have the responsibility to explain. Abay the Uko Maritime Authority, only the fryers and chicken 1.2 billion. Papa no money resign. Abay to a PPA procurement, Papa na account empty. Then you 45 million Ghana cedi. Abay na one. Abenyi kwere to NYA Youth Authority street light 3.4 billion. No be anti ya ho hwe. Sa benya contaminated fuel e wo boss. E kwasi sen about 5 million contaminated fuel akwasi sen. Sa benya menu kase the deputy general secretary kai say at the presidency omuko congress they spend 30 billion or not 3 million kwa no ma no. Who kai sa semana na?
Men kai.
I am telling you since sa benya say your buy from for and they are pretending about thievery. And to move we no.
Yeah, trust me.
Man, come on,
you
can't stop me of expressing my view. And to somebody we no. After they don't have any avenue to go and borrow again. When you say Lewe can say, Lewe to Jomo say Accra Maseho, Kumasi Maseho, Lewe, and Kra Maseho. Abena said the beer or Munis Fabio. And Abena call Brochia now call any of the country to borrow. They don't get it. Until yes, and say, Yakasa, your mom, when I am a minimum 2 or mobile, and then Menuka say, a young guy I friend Sammy, ever pass a jumbo. Or your fool or Tom Fuel or was in there, amount for to mean top fuel. Now, no fool now on the scale of mobile money so. And to stand the fuel price now high enough, I make Pastor John want to be in Tongo. And to say they say, Ube Tisas can where does it go? He lost his income. So near question, it is beyond this e-levy thing, it is beyond say, you better debate it, then let it go. We must hold this government as president. And saying you restrict say the e-levy must not be passed. We've seen instances, sir.
But say you my money padudo na ntuya tuo. Kwan ya abansu.
There are so many ways, sir. There are so many no, didn't you know increase shipping costs? Many guys say, are you not aware say a month over and then common malaria want to make malaria drugs from Wuhan.
Would them Matty me that the
problem.
Matty me that young call apartment about man. So good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Patcho my entonka.
Yeah. Hello, good morning.
Good morning. Me tonka Patcho you.
Yeah, from Lawrence Nathan from La Paz. Yeah, I want to contribute to the little issue. My problem is about this government. This government is trying to make things worse for the next government where it comes.
Fine, Ben, so.
I think that's what I'm trying to say.
How so?
The government is trying to make things worse for the next incoming government. So whatsoever they are bringing, the E11, the E12, the E13, before they accept that E11, it will be an E12 and an E13. Then where are we going? So please, I beg you, my brother, let's see the thing and call it a state. And tell the MPP man, he should get patient. When the NDC man is talking, he should have patience. Let the man talk to me. Then if he can come in, I beg him, sir. But when he was talking, the man didn't say anything. So
that's him. Men are also afraid.
Thank you very much.
So, when you say menu, can say,
hello. Yanko Boga, ya boating so about man. Ya boating me. Good morning.
Good morning. What is that?
Yami Adam, one way.
My party program and mix.
Yes, you. Ya boat to Adam at free TV no yankasa phone. So it's a bed in Semeton.
My friend.
Africa Samitio.
As I'm a TV man, I can't remember on he live in Nashville. One more day, Banny Mumtiazi. I say, on Kano correct. I am on Kano correct. On Kano correct again for 80 man at Yoraka on Kano correct.
What? Yeah, also the Audi free burger. I don't know. What's in me and Kano correct. I'm so afraid for first time, man. So, Yanko Chibi, or afraid for Fraba Humano. So, good morning.
Good morning, but your friend form of an American Chibi.
Yet you. Udiano no Udiani form of one
another. The MY, the MPP need pure by MY. I show me person in the same before me.
Oh, unfortunately, form of Nana into me engine.
When you say e-levy, I mean, you can say a benefit appropriation bill they call Parliament. You call a banner allocated over 240 million already. So the company there on obedi revenue. No. In two parts, said GRA, I work on revenue mobilization. What is their duty? These are the questions I say in Ghana from Bissau. You see,
meaning say yes, I mean I'll born in our friend, but I'm from Oti region, dear friend. Good morning.
They put texting.
Oh, good morning. Hello.
Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning.
About you.
I am emphasizing on the e-levy.
Okay.
What the government is doing is like he has failed hopefully, and he don't understand what he's even doing. He don't actually know the context in which he found now. You look at what is happening in our educational system. Look at what happened yesterday at Hawaii. students have to go to school 3 weeks and come back and spend 10 days in the house. Unfortunately, on their part, an accident occurred there. So all this, whom are we going to do? Gradually, he has realized that he cannot take care of Ghanaians. So he's looking at a way of what? Reducing the population of Ghanaians. And who is where is that?
This allegation.
Right, yeah, that's it, baby. Yanko Saboba, Lazarus for Homano, so I'm saying actually Lazarus, man.
Saboba, they say, come line, no. Only send me a company. The Chaboy doing the doom farmer.
But they are reported.
No, that's not actually the people. And so, you know, say, I bet allocated over 240 million a company, a budget revenue. You see, what we are also hearing, say, I bet I sure say, e-levy in your passing within 1 month. They are going to they are going to use the e-levy as a collateralization to loan. Ocean Get Fund has gone for collateralization. You know, 40% of the scanner levy is not yet here on the Get Fund. A call back to China. Esla levy, a call, infrastructure development fund, a call. And to say, I bet no call baby one engineer or the back loan. And to also, mammy, I want to move and I mean papa na and I mean an offer bonate and I like Yakura and I pass a jumbo and I potrupo and I bet to
but Mamiko Kumasi Abun Swaba Mano Sabu Marching.
Yeah, sir.
Bibi Aboko dear.
Moko.
Yes, you.
Maybe the answer. The issue of the e-levy, wider consultation and Koyi. Between the Ghanaian people and other side of the opponent. There should have been a wider consultation, compromising, agreement, respect to both sides. That is one. Two, even though at the end of the day, whatever is happening and the policy is passed, is the money going to be used judiciously? The issue of credibility. Over the years, what have we seen?
I hope he's finished.
No, why you did all the time you talk?
Hello?
Pacho Mitio.
Over the years, what have we seen? Misappropriation of funds, corruption. The intended purpose of our monies are not being used as discussed. On the other hand, if we are going to collect the e-levy and use the money judiciously for the development of the nation, why not?
Right. Abu Yabeda was the ones who are doing trade. Would have a kind stand of a brain two friend and one two. Last two,
but you know, amazingly, for that to say, e-levy in Ghana for convincing a member of parliament. Normally, e-levy in Tumna, and you just can hear, we should hold him accountable. When is what Cassam of Kufridra. But the same finance minister, I'm Mampeni etna a room. $150, £140.
But Stephen Amo ya ukana semia no so no eka say mojidi e pa say e-levy Ghana for MP na se no bema MPPI and popular dia mo de munja omo na munjentumu mwaje tume we Ghana for.
That is what you get is wrong. NDC is not hungry for power. NDC is always wanted the right thing should be done. When I catch you say MPP what power omo ya dey na Ghana for more mandate. What is the big deal? Say MPP for power forever na adeni ye na eya a bit eno so be come na mboa. We are saying say yentimi ntena ho as an opposition party anka ohwa kura na anka balisem anka na ewa abem obi contract ntena eni abem ti no. Na yentimi ntena ho Emma obi impose burden on me papa na me mama. How do masa am for bread? And you say the whole thing cry. What?
Mama fa ke tuni ento aso Gabriel, good morning. Mpacho ka se free. Pada mama nte wonka.
But also you live no. On man no almost do. On man no so mo pe. E taba no nti o man. Impose akufo do no. O shede so abra. On ka so abra no so ba resign or resign. Ni ento aba foforo. Titia.
Gabi ebeda say woni ofrefo a chat for KH Edwesi. 30 seconds power.
So that is what we are saying. You know say we are as NDC, but NDC as a political party, and I'm John Dramani Mahama, where incoming president of the Republic of Ghana come January 7, 2025. MPP for near time. We want to be a Ghana for Eddie Abedru, a James, Eddie Obi Abedru, baby. No,
me that's it, 30 seconds now.
No, Ghana, but
No, ubenya kusakwenya no we ubenya sakwenya no. Ni ma membra wo suto. Mo ke bibi say akwese mo ma banya wotie Ghana for. Na se mo tie Ghana for dia wotie outcry na ekoso no so akwese dos baby. Ade na mo njem.
Oh, I mean, I think even the discussions no stress it is something that is acceptable to the people. Just that people have grievances about the level of the tax. I mean, there is consensus even among ourselves, the economists, who some of the callers, my brother, even they say the tax, the e-levy tax is not a bad thing for Ghana's economy.
Please, I'm not part of that Putin. No.
Why? Is
I
it
have said,
no. When you get your opportunity,
you are quoting me. Don't quote me.
When you get your opportunity,
don't quote me. Don't quote me. No. I'm part.
I said
e-levy is a bad policy.
Okay, but you were the same person who said that
it's a bad policy.
Minority leader.
I put it on record. It's a bad policy.
But you said you referred to your minority leader.
Mahama said it's a bad policy.
Okay, so he is out, but NDC is in. Because NDC leaders are saying that in the original state it was unacceptable.
That was the initial.
And it's part of the process. No, they didn't say that.
Enra meeting a course between the finance minister and minority leadership.
Okay, when they proposed the new level of the tax, right?
Yes, 0.5.
Okay, fine. So they have brought that response. I am telling you on authority that this discussion is going to continue. And so for me, it will be difficult for me to accept it at the end of the process. So what I'm saying is that the process is ongoing because of a relative level of consensus that has been reached, where people at least are saying that it is not a thing that is bad per se. It is not that people do not want to pay tax. It is that people think that the incidence of the tax and its effect on people's disposable income may be a bit too harsh, and that has to be looked at. Now, what do we see government doing? Yesterday in the meeting with the NDC, what did the finance minister do? He went to propose or represent his proposal in a modified form to reduce the incidence of the tax, isn't it? So is that not being responsive and receptive to the grievances, put across by that group? So we go on with the engagement, and I believe that that is the way that positive, very good, lasting policies are formulated. So I will entreat my brother that I know, yes, he has to speak for NDC and he has a script to read and he has to take into position. But I see my brother, you understand? So let's look at it objectively, and I'll refer him to his statement, that earlier statement, that we should not look at these things based on only partisan positions. We have to look at it in the interest of our national development, because once it becomes
in interest of national development,
of course, e-levy is supposed to add to our revenue stream. Our revenue stream determines what government can do or the level of expenditure that government can make in terms of social and economic infrastructure, in terms of services, in terms of administration of the country, in terms of everything.
When you
say on who's soon fast, well, that is a very relative question, and we can address that on another day. Because when you say on who's soon fast, I have a big problem. There are people, if you want to do it on partisan colors, we can name NDC people whose children are benefited from free SHS. Please, I'm not talking about your children. I don't know your children. I'm saying that I know NDC, children of NDC people. So, my brother, you're asking me about Impasuo. You're asking me about Impasuo, right? And good. So follow me. I want to show you testimony. Okay? I am saying that government, what about, did we have constituency ambulances? Do we have them now? That is where our money is going. Free SHS. We know about the decentralized
6 billion for free education.
Well, we can look into the figures. I'm not an expert on those figures, but I'm saying that we have that. We have the IPEP, the $1 million per constituency initiative, which is also supporting every constituency in this country.
Your constituency, what has it done?
Well, let me tell you, in Ododio, you just go walk by Bukom Square. the AstroTurf there is funded from the $1 million per constituency.
So that costs 6 billion.
Salaga Market. Salaga Market is being redeveloped.
That's $6 million.
Funded by IPEP.
No, but
I said yes.
It's $6 million because it's been 6 years.
What is 6 million?
1 year, $1 million per year. So it's $6 million. So
I am saying that we can go into the details of what interests you about the initiative.
$6 million.
But this is what I call consensus. Right now, at least, we agree that there is something called $1 million per constituency, and he's doing some projects. But you want to know the figures. No problem.
The people of Salaga, they are watching you.
Salaga is here. Salaga Market is here. You don't know. So,
this is not my territory, so that one.
No problem.
Talk about Salaga in another.
So the initiatives are there, and if you want to talk about where our money has gone, it has gone. I mean, let us not engage.
Really end credit. I would have made that say.
Let's not engage in overbreadth. Let's focus on the E-levy and see how it benefits.
30 seconds.
Yeah, so I agree.
But here is 30 seconds.
No, I never give him that.
I agree with you with your plea, your frustrated plea that you plead that we should accept the E-levy.
You are using this kind of words. It's going to go that
the Ghanaians know, said, but I will use this opportunity. Let me tell you, the good people of Nkwanta staff constituency, Oko Bonache, Oko Alagakura, Oko Potripo, and they are many communities and minimum and Sunday morning in a show.
What I made that thing?
My E-levy, no, yeah, you're just so painting, and Brasso say NDC, dear. Say a drink and a phone.
Richard man will be here 1 hour. Kasa di mind this man you could move it maybe.
Make sure that my brother. Let me use this opportunity.
I want to say happy weekend to the president and commander-in-chief of the Ghana Armed Forces, His Excellency Nana Addo Akufo-Addo, his wife, the first lady, and the CEO of Coastal Development Authority.
I'm brother to stop
What's